Usually start with three things to get you ready. There'll be an extra one today for this. So usually we'll start though, going to get spine moving. So we'll start with that. We'll quickly again go over your setup, because I say I never know if there's new people or not. It's not fair to them if they don't get this bit. So here we go. Trying to get the four curves in the spine. So you want to curve it at the neck, curve it at the top of the back, curve it at the low back, and curve it at the tailbone. That's your standing posture. But it's where your core works best for most of the exercises. So to get your core into position, the easiest way to do that is get your hip in position first, and you just grab the back of your trousers. For most people, if you grab the back of your trousers and just pull your trousers up, you'll just feel your tailbone lift slightly, and that gives you a little curve. If you know you've got a big curve naturally in your low back, you need to actually do the opposite and drop your tailbone down slightly. So once you've done that and you've got your curve, whichever way you've got the curve there, you've got that little curve, then you're going to use your core. So the core wraps right around the middle, attaches to your ribs, attaches to your hips, attaches to your spine. There are two sheets of muscle, and they wrap all the way around, and they come right around and attach to the last 5 vertebrae. So, and if you know anybody who's got bulging discs, they're going to probably, more than likely, the vast majority of them are in those last 5 vertebrae. So they'll be L something, usually L4, L5, or L5S1, that sort of thing. So if you can use your core to protect there and hold those bones in position, it helps. If you do a bulging prolapse disc, it's going to help hold it in position. If you don't, it's going to hopefully keep it in position so you don't get a bulging prolapse disc. So here we go. Put your belly button in like you tighten your belt or a corset, and you've tightened it like you're pulling it in like 3 holes in your belt. So if you imagine a full-on brace is 10, 100%. This is 30%, so you just put in like 3 holes in your belt. Here we go. Right, so you put that in, and just lift your belly button up slightly to get pelvic floor, part of your core, get it involved, and then holds internal organs in place. Most of your stabilized muscles, core muscle, hold bones in place. Your pelvic floor does hold bones in place, but also holds internal organs in place, so it makes it very useful. Next one, the breathing. You breathe up into the ribs. If you're going to put your core in and hold your core in while you're doing the exercises, you can't breathe into your belly anymore, which is what we normally do. So for the exercises, what you're going to do is you're going to breathe up into the ribs. So you have choices. You can touch your longest fingers together and bring them against the bottom of the ribs. And then you're going to breathe up into the side of the chest. You think about having, if you got a strap there, that's perfect. That's exactly where I want you to breathe. You can use it as your physical reminder throughout the class. So you'll be breathing into the ribs, breathing into the strap. If you find that putting here is uncomfortable due to different things, you can just put your hands on the strap or on the side of your chest and the side of your ribs, and then breathe in. Really, you're breathing into your hands, you're breathing into the strap, and then breathe out. Or you can breathe into the side of your ribs, breathe into the strap again if you've got one, and your fingers should come apart like by a couple of millimeters. You breathe it in, and then breathe out through your nose. So breathe in through your nose, breathe out through your mouth. Breathe in through your nose, breathe out through your mouth. Just getting the air into the lungs, and then you're getting the air back out again. So you take a big breath in and out, and do one more. And if you ever feel dizzy doing that, just stop immediately. Don't risk, having fainting. And then relax. Next thing, shoulders. We all carry, most of us, the vast majority of us carry shoulders too far forward. So to get them in position again, just lift shoulders up, slide the shoulders a little bit closer together, and then slide shoulders down your back. So if you look at the camera, or you look at a mirror, you should see your thumb and the finger beside it, but you shouldn't see your knuckles. If you see your knuckles, your shoulders are rounded. Guaranteed, if you can only see the thumb and that finger, shoulders are in a much better position, excuse me. So you keep adding through everything. I will remind you throughout. So pull your core in, lift your belly button in and up. That's pulling your core muscles in. Tighten them up a little bit so they're going to hold the ribs and hips and spine. Tighten the glutes. So the big muscle will shape your bottom. Just tighten it to be aware of it. And even bring your hip forward slightly. Just for the purpose of the exercise, because I want you to move your spine, not your hip. So drop your chin down, round your spine, roll your spine down. So you're as close to the base of your spine as you can get, and your fingers will probably be top or mid knee for most of us. And then you're going to roll back up again. So it's about spine, not hip movement. You're rounding down over the time, breathing out as you do so. Breathe in at the bottom. Breathe out, come up. Take your breath in, breathe out. Try to keep it moving. You're breathing out, come down. Breathe in, your hands get more or less level with the knee. And then you're coming up. You're not trying to get anywhere near your toes. The extra thing that I'm going to add in today, you will be getting near your toes or getting down that direction. But for this, it's moving the spine. If you're not moving your hip and you're not moving your knees, you shouldn't be able to get anywhere near your toes. It's just getting your spine to move, moving all the joints in the back, and every one of your vertebrae makes a joint with the next one. You're going to move them as many as you can. Breathe out, go down, breathe in, bottom, breathe out, come up, breathe out at the top, one more. Breathing in, get air into the muscles, get oxygen in the muscles. Coming down, breathing out, using that oxygen, then breathing in so that you can get the muscles ready to come back up and finish when you get to the top. So I get you to use balance. Balance is one of the things your core does. So we lose balance as we get older. So it's a really good thing to practice. So you have sensors in your feet, which actually get less as you get older. So that'll affect your balance. So lift your core in, lift it up. Now, tighten on the glutes. They're going to help you. They're going to act like core muscles, even though they're just mainly move your leg backwards. So what you do is you can slide your foot forward, keep your toe on the ground for now, and you've lifted the core in up. If that allows you to focus putting your core in, which is what this is about, it's not about balance, it's not about your leg. If that allows you to focus on putting your core in, brilliant. If you want to get a bit more of a challenge, you lift your foot. You're not trying not to lean. If you want even more of a challenge, you can start to draw that circle, lifting your core in, breathing up into the ribs. But do what's right for you. And I can actually touch my foot on the ground. So I've explained before, I have psoriatic arthritis. My left knee, my supporting leg in this case, the knee needs replaced. It's bone on bone. My right leg, the knee has been replaced. The left and core in, now breathing up into the chest. And then bring that back to the insides. So it's been replaced, but when you get a knee replacement, you lose up to 85% of the muscle mass around the thigh. So if you are going to get a knee replacement, it's really important you build up size and strength in the leg muscles before you get the operation, so that you have more muscle to lose, essentially. So you'll have more left if you lose 85%. So you're pulling the core in again. You could lift and you could do that circle, but I'm not. I'm just going to touch the toe on the ground today. And it varies from day to day. Some days, things will be working better for you. You might find you can do a circle. Some days you'll find you need to get your toe off the ground. Some days you'll get your toe off the ground, but that's all. It doesn't matter. It's all about how it feels in the middle. And this applies whether you're in a class. If you're in a class with other people or you're at home, if you're in a class with other people, always do what's right for you. You don't do what's right for the person standing beside you or your friend that's come with you. Do what's right for you. I preach that in my classes. And then bring it back. Grease. Push the legs together. Turn the legs out. So your big toes apart, basically. Not much, but just apart. Press your legs together. Now, it doesn't matter what's pressing. It's heels for me. It could be thighs, calves for you. Doesn't matter. As long as you press something, it'll turn the inner thighs on. They'll act like core muscles to help hold your hip. Your glute will turn on as well, but just tighten it to know it's there. And then you're going to stretch out through your arms, bringing your arms back. Now, the chest can be very tight, particularly if you're around your shoulder. You might find your arms still in front of you while you're doing this for the first maybe 2, 3, 4. But as you do this, the muscles in the chest should start to stretch. And you should find as you do it that your arms start coming more behind you, but you put your core in and tight your glutes so you don't lean backwards, which is exactly what your brain wants you to do. Your brain will always take the easy option. It doesn't want to waste energy trying to sort the problem out. It'll just avoid the problem, basically. It's a survival thing, and it's actually not a bad thing, but if you want to try and get things corrected, then you need to sort it. So I don't like demonstrating something that's wrong, but I will in this case. If you find when you're doing this that you're doing this and you're leaning backwards, it's your brain avoiding stretching your chest. So make sure that you don't let that happen. You stretch around and just one more. Bring it around. Let it relax. Okay, the extra thing. The extra thing is a hip hinge. You use hip hinge every day of your life. So if you're sitting on a chair, so if you're sitting on a chair, to get up, you're going to do a hip hinge. You're going to bring your hip forward. That is a hip hinge. So I'm going to teach you how to do it properly. You put your core in, and then let your arms relax. And then you can imagine you've got a kitchen drawer behind you and you want to close it, but you have no hands free. So you're going to push it with your rear end. So put your core in so your spine doesn't move, you're not riding your back at all, and you push your hip backwards and your arms just fall forwards, don't worry about them. And then you're going to push forward again. So you're breathing out, or breathe in actually to bring your head back, and then breathe out and you're coming back up again. So you're breathing out in, push your head backwards, your spine stays the same shape. So the roll down is all spine and no hip. This is all hip and no spine. You're pushing back, which is the same action primarily, nearly the same action as when you stand up. It's the same action for your hip, it's not the same action for your back. You should never stand up in the starting point here, because your leg is much more likely to fall. You're breathing out as you push back, or sorry, you come up, breathing in as you go back. I'll just do one more. I'll briefly do this because I know this is being recorded. I'm telling this helps people. So when you stand up, you treat it like an exercise. So what you do is you push down through your feet, so your legs are going to do the lifting. You try to come up as straight as you can. You will lean forward slightly, but you're not letting yourself go further forward. Then you push through your feet, push your head forward, and it's the safest and probably the most elegant way to stand up, which is nice. And that's how you stand up. If to get up, you do this, all the pressure's on your back, all your weight's to the front, so falling is much more likely, and hurting your back is much more likely. So when you get up, feel like you've just straightened yourself up first, push through your feet, and bring your head towards the ceiling. It's much safer, it's much better, and it's much less likely to hurt your back. So I didn't intend doing that today, but I'll just add it in. I think it's useful. So I'll bring it down the mat. I just need to adjust my camera slightly. That should be enough. Yep. So bring stuff down the mats in the safest way you can. And again, I have to give a disclaimer. I can't see people. So I can't correct people in this class. So you do this at your own risk. I describe everything to the best of my ability to keep you safe. But you really are doing it at your own risk, because I can't physically correct you. I'm not in the room with you. or I'm not looking at you on camera, like if I was doing an online class, one of my own online classes. So you're down, and I'll get you to do. I'm going to get you to do one of my exercises, and it's called Donna's Frog. And Donna's my wife. She's the first person to come up with this exercise. So this is what it is. You bring. I'll change the position so you can see my legs. So you bring one leg up, you bring the other leg up, and you bring your knees higher than your hips, and turn your legs out. So your knees are further out than your feet, and your big toes are apart. So it looks a bit like a frog leg sort of thing. Hence that frog part of the name. Then you put your core in. You're just keep your low back working and keep your low back curve. You got that grip you don't want to lose. So you breathe in and you drop your leg to the side. And always feel like you're trying to turn your legs so your knees further out than your ankle. And you'll feel a stretch on the inner thigh. Breathe out to pull your leg back up in that shape. And then do the other leg. So it's one leg at a time. You're breathing in, dropping a leg down to the side. Breathing out as you pull that leg back up. Keeping the knees in line with that. Breathing in, drop your leg out. And make sure you keep the knee out. Kind of really think about keeping your knee out away from you further than the ankle, further than the heel. And that'll stretch the inner thigh. And then you're now working with those inner thigh muscles. When they're in a long, weak position, you're making them come to a strong position. And that's hard work for muscles. So it's an easy way to overload a muscle, and you have to overload muscles if you want to get stronger. If you work within the range, it's not the range, if you work within the strength of a muscle, well, it doesn't need to get any stronger because it's strong enough and it can cope. So if you want to get them stronger, you have to make them do more than they're used to, which is overloading them. And this is a good way of doing it. So breathing in, drop your leg out the side, breathe out, pull it back up, and I'll do one more now. Pull in that leg back up, and then you just hug your knees in, hug them into your chest, and rock side to side. You can get your knees close to your chest. Most of you probably can close to your chest than I can, due to what I've already said about the knees. And then bring feet down one at a time. Slight chance you hurt your back, bringing two legs down. So just bring one down at a time. No point taking that chance. Okay. And this is the choice. It's the Viking side bend, as I call it, another knee Pilates exercise, or a side bend. And the difference is, so the reason why you would do the side bend is because you want to get more movement in your spine. You're still going to get strength into the muscle that makes you bend. You're still going to get strength into your arms, and you'll get more bend than you into the spine. So if your spine's tight, this could be a good option. So you press down, press your hands in the ground, push your waist down the ground, and float up without your legs moving. And then you're coming back down again. If you've any carpal tunnel issues, you have any nerve issues in the hand, you're best not to press through your hand. You can press through the forearm. So my hand's actually off the floor now. So you can do that, and this other hand, just don't press through it if that's going to cause you an issue. Always keep yourself safe. Now, if you want to add more strength in, you can let the legs float up. You won't get as much bend, but you will feel more strength because you're working your core harder because you're less stable. So if you want more strength, this would be the version. If you're happy with how much your spine moves and you want to work the muscles that make you bend, you can do this. And I call this the Viking side bend after Isis Lindahl, who's one of the Neil Pilates instructors, and she was the first person I saw doing this. So you can do it with the legs moving, or you can do it without the legs moving, and you see I can get a bit more bend that way. So and do what's right on the day for you. You know, if you feel a bit tight, this should be the better option. If you're feeling like everything's good and you're feeling the spine's pretty good, I don't want to get more strength, then the legs. And this will be my last one. So obviously, I'm mixing between the two so people can see. And bring yourself around then, change sides or just change over whatever works for you. So top arms out to the front and it's at about 45 degrees. It just gives you more leverage. So now when you're coming up, you're pressing down through the arm. So you can see this muscle in the back of your arm, instead of your arms working hard, you're getting more arm strength, which is brilliant. Upper body strength is provided for everybody. So I'll let legs float this time. You're still getting arm strength. It's working the oblique. You feel here at the side, but the oblique is a big muscle. It covers a lot of your torso, actually. So you're coming down, breathing in, breathing out as you go back up. So you can do it with the legs on the ground, or you can do it like I'm doing it now. I'm going to stick with this on this side. But I say, like I said before, do what's right for you. You don't care about anybody else. You know, hopefully, I mean, I'd imagine the reason why you're doing exercise is for your benefit. So do what's going to give you the most benefit. And you're bending. Now really think about what you're doing. You're breathing out on the hard bit. You're breathing out as you come up. And you're breathing in to get the oxygen back into the muscles so that you're ready to do the hard bit. And then you're breathing out. And I'll do one more. Again, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. And then bring it down. And just bring your legs up and push with your hands or your arms and just push yourself back up. See if it for your back. Okay. And again, I didn't bring a tea towel out with me today. But so you can use your band or you can use your hands. So if you double up on your band, so you fold it in two. If you were using a tea towel, I'll just use this hoodie actually, then you just grab it, just roll it up, grab it, and you're ready to go. You can use tea towel if you want to. If you want to use your hands, today, what I'll get you to do is just bring your hands that you're just putting the fingers sort of like a handshake basically, and pull without letting your arms come apart. And you're breathing out as you turn. You're breathing in to go back through the middle. You're breathing out to turn. So if you got the band, you squeeze and pull. Same with the tea-towel or whatever you're using. Breathe it out. Keep your eyes in the middle of the band. You're turning from the waist. Your arms are only moving because they're attached to your upper body, and it's the upper body that's turning. You're not turning your arms independently. So you don't need to bring your arms further than your body's turning. I just don't think you get a lot of benefit from it. So that's as far as I can turn. There's no point in me doing anything like this. So just holding the arm steady. If you squeeze and pull, then you'll get the muscles working in the arms. You'll get muscle working in the shoulder, across the chest. If you're doing the one where you're pulling, you're getting the chest working. You're working those pectoral muscles. Arms are certainly working. You're breathing out as you turn. You're breathing in through the middle. Breathing out to turn. Lengthening out. You can just keep your eye on the middle of your band or on your thumb if you're doing it with this, in the middle of the tea-towel. Breathing out to turn, breathing in through the middle. So you get a spine rotation, which is great. It's called spine twist, but in fact you are rotating. And that's two. And you bring it back through the middle, breathe in, come through the middle, breathe out as you turn, and let it relax. Okay, good one. Now, I'm going to do my version of a body control Pilates exercise. It's an exercise I owe a huge gratitude to called the Dart. And I genuinely believe when I started doing Pilates properly, this helped my back more than pretty much anything. The original exercise, and I've added an arm movement that's going to work between the shoulder blades to really help that upper back issue where you round and you make those muscles weak. So you're going to make them stronger, which will help keep your shoulders back. So this is it. So I did say before, and I'll cut it really short. I was sent by a physio, NHS physio, who was brilliant, and she sent me to do Pilates with another NHS physio who was a body control instructor. When I had three bulging discs, and she sent me, and I do believe this exercise was really important to getting me back moving again, and it's largely the reason why I decided to teach Pilates. So without those people, I probably wouldn't be teaching this now. So I owe them a huge set of gratitude as well. Push your legs together, tighten the glutes, hands by your side. This is your original Dart position. And you bend backwards. And as you bend backwards, you stretch through the arms and lift them. And you breathe in as you come down. Head stays steady. You're always looking down. You don't move your head. It just comes up because it's attached to your spine. And your spine's bending backwards. So you're breathing out. Bend back, breathe in, come down. Lengthen out. Just lift your arms up as much as you can. It won't be very much, probably. So you work back the arms again, you work in between shoulders. You keep your hands close to your side when you're lifting them. Your little fingers up, your thumbs down. Breathing out as you bend back, tightening on the glutes. You're working a lot of muscle. Put your core in like you've got an ice cube at your belly button. Stretching through the top of the head. Stretching through the heels. You know, as ever, strength's my thing. I think everyone needs to be stronger. But without flexibility and stretch, you can't really use that strength. So you are stretching in every exercise. You stretch to the top of the head, stretch to the heels. And last two. Last one. And then bring it down. Now, you can sit back on your heels like tennis pose in yoga to stretch your back. Physically, I can't do that. The alternative is you can roll over again on your back, hug your knees in. That's much kinder to your knees. But do you feel you're trying to tuck your tail between your legs, trying to lift your tailbone? Make sure you're trying to tuck your tail between your legs if you're sitting back on your heels with your head down towards the mat. I know we call it rest position, but I'm assured by people who do yoga it is very like child's pose in yoga. You can bring feet down again one at a time. You can roll over and push up. So, right, I'll give you a shoulder bridge. So this is the hip hinge like we did earlier. Only this time you're going against gravity. So it's stronger. So if you take your band and you can tie it into a loop. So it doesn't work with T-tail. The original exercise didn't use any equipment, so you're not really losing out. You're just going to really focus on the big loop. If you do tie your band, you get to work all three glutes better. So you just tie your band into that loop. Alternatively, you can put a couple of cushions between your knee, or if you had a ball, any ball, kids ball, Mickey Mouse on it does the job. You know, and put it between your knees. Then you get to work your inner thighs as well as your glutes. So there's lots of variations. So what you do, this is the version I will do in my own classes, live or online. I do change it, but I'll do variations, but this is largely what I do. So you're down, you bring your ankles so they're slightly in front of your knee. I have to grab the trousers. You don't need to do this. I have to grab the trouser legs and put in because I don't have enough movement in the knees because of what I've already explained. You stretch out to the top of the head. You want a little curve in the bottom of the back. If you're not sure if you've got that, you can just flatten your back gently sort of arch it up a bit and then drop it down so it's sort of halfway between the flat and the arch. So you can get a grip or an olive in there and you want to keep it. Tightening on the muscles in the glutes, the muscles in the bottom, tighten where you feel them and even tighten a wee bit more. You're going to press again through your arms and breathe out as you lift straight up. Breathe in when you get to the top and then breathe out. And you try to straighten one leg, keeping tension on your band. If you use the band, not dropping your ball, if that's what you're using. Same on the other leg. Breathe out, straighten, breathe in, bend. Take attention off the band if you're using it. Just forget about your glute and you can tuck your tail under there and roll down. So it's that same tail tuck you did a minute ago to stretch your back. And then you just lift your tailbone like you pull your trousers up, got your little curve, tighten on the glute, and then it's a hip hinge. You're bringing your hips straight up as high as you can or until everything's in line, knee, hip, shoulder. Tighten you 100% at the top. So you're as rock solid as you can be. And you're straightening. The two knees the same height, not lifting. Straighten one, straighten the other, and roll your spine down again. You're getting flexibility in the way down. So got the little curve, tighten the glute to hold it, lift straight up, tighten you 100%. So you're sending different signals to your glute from your brain. You made it tight to some extent, you made it tight 100%, or what you're as tight as you can. And now you're going to change that again by not thinking about the glute. And it will soften. It won't relax, but it will soften. And that'll be enough that you can safely roll the spine down. Your hip will be held enough that you can roll down. So don't try to relax your glute. Just stop thinking about it. So tighten 100%, straighten out each leg. Bring it down. And then round down. If you find that straightening your legs too much, but I do want people to try it. But if you find it's too much, you can tighten on the glute, lift straight up, tighten to 100%, and then stop thinking about your glute and roll down. The reason to leave that leg straightening out would be if you really couldn't hold your hip up when you did it, or you're cramping in the back of your leg because your glute isn't strong enough in that case. So you can build up the strength in the glute to the point where you can then straighten out one leg at a time. Because it's difficult, it's definitely not a reason to leave it out. If you're cramping in the back of the leg, that would initially be a reason, but you want to be working to the point then that you can actually straighten your leg. So last one then, to straighten it out, each of the legs, and then roll the spine down, stop thinking about your glutes, stretch out, hands over the head, lengthen out the legs. And do your long stretch. You keep doing that stretch, I'm going to roll over, push up, but you keep doing it. So, as I said, if you just find it difficult to stop doing it, well, you're not going to work the muscle any more than it can already, so it's not going to get stronger. And I realize that's going to give you a big problem over time. So only leave the leg bit out if it's really affecting your hip and you can't hold it up. You can't. It's going to tell. Do it without that. Try and strengthen the glute. Really focus on tightening the glute. Get the hip stronger. Get the glute stronger, and then once you're stronger, start putting that in again, and then you really get even stronger again. And it does make life better and easier. And roll over and push up. Okay, next. I'm going to bring it on your side. I'll bring it down. So I have done this one before. It's one of mine. It's based on the hot potato that if you were here last week, I did the hot potato, which is a Romana move. This is mine. So you're in a straight line with your ankles, knees, and hips and shoulders in a line. Your hip is steady. Don't let your hip roll backwards. So just tighten on the glute a bit. Put your belly button in and up and just lift your bottom ribs. So you've got that standing low back position. You're mimicking that position. And then lengthen out and you lift both legs slightly. So, and then you're bringing your top leg forward and up. So I call this pendulum swing. And you're bringing your leg down, touch the other foot in the way through and bring your leg up behind. So if you imagine your foot's the seat of a kid's swing, so it's swinging forward and it's swinging back. So it's like a child swing, or it's like a pendulum, like grandfather clock. And you're breathing out as your leg is forward and up, breathe in, bring it back, behind and up. And touch that foot on the way through, just skim over the top of it. It gives you a bigger range of motion, which is useful. So you're changing the center of gravity. You're already unstable because you've lifted your lower leg, you put your core in. So you're really going to work the core. But because you're moving your legs away, are you really going to work everything around here in the hip, which is brilliant. So you strengthen that whole area up. And if you spend a lot of your life sitting, well, then your brain loses contact with it. It just forgets about it because it's not using it. So the saying, if you don't use it, you lose it, really is true. Your brain won't maintain muscles it doesn't use on a regular basis. So you need to keep them moving, keep them working. So your brain will know it needs to use energy to do that. It would rather save energy. But you've got to make sure your brain knows it has to use energy up, has to burn calories so that you can keep that muscle working, whatever the muscle happens to be. The last one, front and back on this side. And then bring your leg down, get a bit of rub, give it a bit of slap, get the change the sensation, get the blood back into it, because it will work again on the next side. And then just change yourself over, whatever way works for you. So we'll lift your core, put your core in, so then stretch out, breathe out, bring your leg forward and up. One side's always better than the other. Said before, we're human beings. We're not carbon copies one side or the other. We are different one side or the other. We will have a weak side or a weaker side and a stronger side. I don't tell you what side to do. Your brain will normally pick the stronger side if you just go with the flow. So you may well find this is more challenging one way or the other. Either it may be more challenging to balance, it may be more challenging in terms of the leg swing. So you just want to skim the foot in the way through. You're pressing down through your arms. You've lifted your waist. You feel like you're not pressing your waist into the ground. You're trying to lift your bottom rib away from the floor. Breathing in as the leg goes back and behind. Breathing out as you bring it forward and up. Foot's relaxed. It'll look pointed when it relaxes. You're not physically trying to point it because you may well cramp if you do. You're stretched right out, breathing up into the ribs. So say knee Pilates exercise. Lengthen through the top of the head, breathing up into the ribs. You're breathing into the chest. Last two then, front and back. So again, you're really working those muscles in the hip, even though they're not the direct reason why you're doing the exercise. The direct reason is that you're using your core and you're working your core and you're holding the bones steady while you've got a limb moving. And then just bring it down, last one. So just bring it back one last time. Bring it down again, just giving it a bit of a rub, bit of flap, getting blood into it. And then you can push back up. Great. And I'm going to bring you around and do swimming. So this, I'm not swimming, sorry, I'm going to bring you around and do swan dive, sorry. Swan dive tends to be in pretty much every one of my classes these days because without using equipment, without using any of this sort of stuff that's behind me here, excuse me, it's the best way I have of stretching your upper back. When you round your back, it gets tight. If you make something do more of what it normally does, it'll get tight, basically. So your back is supposed to be rounded out, but if you make it round out more, it gets tight. So you're going to do exactly the opposite and try to bend it backwards, which will stretch it. So this is what you're going to do. So I use this particular exercise for mobility, for this stretch. So if you have gone to anybody else, going to other Pilates class, going to other teacher, they more than likely use it for strength because that's what I was trained to use it for. So it'll be slightly different. So, but every Pilates teacher teaches a bit different from every other Pilates teacher anyway, which is a good thing, I think. So even all the people, I've trained dozens and dozens of people to be teachers, but they all teach differently to me. So I do think it's a good thing. So your thumbs are level with the side of your head, side of your temple, and once you're there, you just bring your arms in a bit. So my elbows are still further out than my wrist, but I'm just trying to bring them in a bit. Press your legs together, turn the feet out, tighten on the glute. Strong glute, strong back. You're going to bend back, so using those back muscles. So you want to be in a strong position. So you tighten on your glute to support your hip and allow the back muscles to work in a better way, more efficient way. So tighten up, lift your core, stretch out to the top of the head, keep it up moving your head, press through your arms. So your elbows stay on the ground. Your head stays steady again. You're not trying to look forward. And you're going to breathe in as you come back down, or breathe in, breathe out, come down. So breathe in, big breath in, fill the lungs. And I find that gives you more bend. Breathing out as you come down. So if I was doing this sort of exercise to bend, to get strength like we did earlier on, I would have you breathing the other way around. But in this one, I want you to breathe in to bend back and breathe out as you come down. Because I'm really focusing on the mobility, flexibility aspect of the exercise. Next stage, very low again. You're supposed to be like a swan flying through the air with a long neck. You stretch out to the top of the head, get that long neck, head staying still, and then you're coming back down again. If when you're coming up that you tilt to, you're looking forward and you look a bit like the Sphinx, you actually take a lot of the strength out of the back. You don't work it the same. You'll feel the strength in the low back as you're coming up. So every exercise will have flexibility and strength in it. It just depends what the focus is, what I call it. So I'm doing this mainly for the flexibility aspect, but you need strength as well, and there is strength. You're working the glute, core, you're working the low back, you're feeling the backs of the arms, you're working the arms. There's a lot of work in it too, working the muscles between the shoulder blades. You're breathing in, the bend back, down. I'm going to do one more. So if you take a band, or you can use your hands, you don't need a band. But I like the band as a guide you up, and it helps take pressure off the neck. So you can lay the band down if you're using one, and I'll give you both versions. If you slide your feet away from your body. So normally you'll automatically go into a position like this, but just slide your feet away. So you've still got to bend your knees about slightly more than 45 degrees. If you're going to use the band, you reach over and grab it. So you make sure you have a good bit sticking out the top. So you can grab it, and if you can have your hands about a school ruler distance from your forehead, so about 30 centimeters, about a foot, you can have that distance. Yeah, and if not, you're going to mesh your hands together and bring your hands behind your head. And then what you do is you nod your head. You want to move the bones in the spine, so you nod your head and you look between your knees and roll towards them. And you're just pulling on the band enough to make your neck go soft. And then you're coming back down. And if you're using your hands, same thing. Press on the back of the head to make your neck go soft. And then you're nodding your head and you're looking between your knees and rolling up. And then you're unwinding back down again. So you're going to breathe out, come up. Nod the head, you've still got a gap here between chin and chest. It's like you're holding a tomato, if you like. You don't want to drop her or you don't want to break it. And you're coming up. Now, the disclaimer has to be given in this one. If you've any bulging or prolapse disc or anything presses on your spinal column, it would be dangerous to do this. So you would curl up without letting your back flatten. You'd be nodding your head like I am now, and curling up to the point where your back flattens. You'd not curl up very much, but if you did, you'll feel the muscle has started to work. If you're poking yourself, you'll feel it's quite hard. It's the same with the band. If you've osteoporosis, osteopenia, any bone thinning medical condition, this also applies. So it would be dangerous to you, potentially dangerous. So you keep your little curve and you're only coming up as far as you can without moving your spine. And again, shouldn't be anybody who's pregnant. I should have said at the start, I was get to it, shouldn't. You shouldn't be doing that. Any exercise lying on your back, you should be propped up so that your head's higher than your heart. If you were doing this when you were pregnant, you would again only come up to the point where you feel something happen, which may be even less than if you've bone thin medical condition or whatever, and then you're on your way down again. But it's working on the if you don't use it, you lose it principle. So you're still making the muscle work, so your brain has to maintain it. But if it's safe for you to press your back, then do. You press your back into the ground. It'll allow the muscles to relax in the bottom of the back. It'll allow the muscle in front to tighten up more and make it work more efficiently. And it creates more of the balance between the two. A lot of people have tension in their low back. And that tension, is because will be because the muscles have tightened up. So your brain gets to the point where it thinks those muscles being tight is normal. And it likes normal, so it keeps normal. But if you get something that's tight, the opposite muscle has to stay soft. So you get this muscle imbalance. Muscle imbalance generally lead to pain or injury or both. So we want to get rid of those muscle imbalances when you're doing Pilates. So you have length to the top of that, breathing up into the chest, scooping in, and you're breathing out, coming up, breathing in, going down. And this will be the last one. And I'm just going to do this one, my hands behind the head. So you're going to curl up, and then you're going to roll down. And do your long stretch. You're going to stretch out, let your back arch, let go over one step. It'll lift away from the floor, and it's a lovely stretch. And I'm going to get you to stretch. So if you take your band, you move your spine everywhere it goes. So you bend sideways, you bend forward, you bend back, and you've rotated your spine. So there's the 4 ways your spine moves. And the more you move your spine, with using your core, whatever, to keep it steady and keep it strengthened, life improves. Because you've got your spinal column, extension of your brain running down through your spine, and all the nerves that run out can then feed the correct messages to all the muscles and internal organs. So it's really important to keep your spine moving, flexible, and keeping the core, keeping it strong and supported. So if you take your band, have it on tight. You did stand it up, by the way. I'm going to sit, so I'm not going to change my camera angle. But you could do this standing up. If you were in one of my live classes, I would be doing this with you standing up. In an online class, I generally get people to do it like this, where you're seated. But feel free. You've got your hand underneath your band, and you lift up the band. Then you slide your shoulder blades slightly closer together and pull on your band. And you should feel that right across the front of your chest. And I'm going to get you to change it slightly as well in a second. So it's a physiotherapy stretch I'm out of the band too. Now, what I'm getting you to do now is just feel like you're going to try to bend backwards like you did in your swan dive earlier on. And then you can lift your arms a bit higher and you'll feel it here now. This top part of the chest where it attaches onto the arm. And that tends to get very tight in a lot of people, from my experience. And so you feel that across the front of the chest and let it relax. And we're going to stretch behind the shoulders here again to get the part of your spine that bends out. You're gonna stretch it. Normally, say bending forward more makes it tighter, but because of the way you're doing this stretch, it'll actually free it up. So I know it's a bit counterintuitive, but it does work. So again, physiotherapy stretch, having a bit to it. Mesh your fingers together, push your shoulders forward, and round over slightly. Just like you've started to do your roll out, but you've stopped. And you should feel that right across the top of your back. Have your elbows bent, and it works better, I think. Now, the bit I've added to it is if you feel you're pushing backwards, like you're pushing into your big pillow, it'll give you a bit more bend in the spine, but you'll feel that stretch right across the back. Now, the way this works actually is it stretches all the muscles top of the back, or a lot of the muscles at the top of the back that pull on the spine. So when they're stretched, they're not pulling anymore, and it just allows the spine itself to free up. So you feel that stretch then, it's a nice stretch. And then let that relax and put your hands on your hips and you stretch right up. And then what you do is you slide your shoulder blades. So I'll just twist. You slide your shoulder blades closer together and you slide your shoulder blades apart. And this also helps free up that top part of the spine. And again, it's a physio stretch. So you're sliding your shoulder blades closer together without squeezing them. That puts tension in there. You want to get rid of it. Breathe it out. You're moving forward. Just take a big breath in. Slide your shoulders close together. Say don't squeeze them. Breathe out as you bring your shoulder blades apart. So your arms will be moving, but you're not trying to move your arms. So you're trying to slide your shoulder blades close together. Because your arms are attached, they're going to move backwards. When you bring your shoulder blades apart, you'll find your elbows will move forward. So you just think about your shoulder blades. Don't think about what your arms are doing. And do 2 more in each direction. And last one. And you can just let it relax. We have seconds. Let's use them. Hands and hips. Lift your shoulders up and just roll them back and down. You just lift it up and then rolling them back and down just to free up these muscles at the top of your shoulder. They can get really tight as well. Like you hold a lot of tension there, a lot of people do. So you're just lifting them up, which makes them tighten up, but then you're making them come down and making them stretch. So a muscle's supposed to get longer and shorter. You're making your muscle do that. You're making it shorter first and then you're making it longer. And that gets rid of the tension. Tension stays in the muscle because if it stays constantly short and tight, so you're making a change from one to the other. And last one, and then let it relax. And thank you very much, as always. Really appreciate it. Thank you.